Hello, my name is METİN. This is 231st part of explanation of my theory. According to my theory and my formulas, gravitational waves affect pulsars, not the space. Gravitational waves never stretch or squeeze the space. Gravitational waves may be affecting the pulsar spins, not the space. Physicists didn't think that gravitational waves might be affecting the pulsar spins, pulsar timing array. Gravitational wave can make a pulsar precession. Yes, 1. According to accepted physics theories, they say, as this quote from Wikipedia, a gravitational wave perturbs spacetime in between the pulsar and Earth and changes the time of arrival of pulses. They believe that gravitational waves make space-time fabric stretch and squeeze. Space-time is metaphysical misconception that confine the mind with the limited light speed. Metaphysical concept because it is stretching or squeezing what doesn't exist. 2. According to my theory and my formulas, gravitational waves are nothing but electron motion forms, successive, intertwined, interconnected, interinteracted, spherical ring-shaped light waves. Yes. There are different wavelength size kinds. Electron motion forms of matter, sensation, perception matter in our universes. For instance, most common kind is the 91.155 nanometer initial wavelength size kind electron motion form in our atoms and universes. There are hundreds of thousands of kilometers, millions of kilometers initial wavelength size kinds, giant electron motion forms in our universes also. According to me, these are black holes. 3. By the way, I advise you to watch my former videos, step by step. If you look at my YouTube page, you will see titles. Which one, if you're interested in, I advise you to watch. Yes, 3. If you remember, as I told you before, successive waves of free electron motion forms affect proton-bound electron motion form, which goes on cycling at its first cycle only, like this. This is proton-bound electron motion form. I guess you see, this is proton-bound electron motion form. It cannot produce and propagate successive waves because of it made joint motion with proton. Protons constituent electron-like connected motion forms. first cycle always, and wave number is equal to 1. Here, right side, blue one, free electron motion form. It produces and propagates successive waves through the eternity. Yes, and these successive waves affects a proton-bound electron motion form when this line, a wave line, which is at wave number multiplied by 1,884,000 km per second. When coming like this here, coincide, intertwines, okay, with proton-bound electron motion forms axis, it makes proton-bound electron motion form expand at the rate of its squared wave number multiplied by 1,000,000. I'm so sorry. It make proton-bound electron motion form. It makes proton-bound electron motion form expand at the rate of its squared wave number multiplied by its proton-bound electron motion form's initial wavelength. Like what? Like this. Lambda normal. N square, wave number square, lambda normal. Lambda normal of proton-bound electron motion form. Okay? Like this. Yes. If you remember, as I told you before, successive waves of free electron motion forms affect proton-bound electron motion form, which goes on cycling at its first cycle only. A successive wave of a free electron motion form here affects a proton-bound electron motion form by interacting with its motion arrow. Motion arrow axis, its axis. Therefore, a proton-bound electron motion form expands like this, its initial situation, its expanded situation by the effect of free electron motion form's successive wave. Okay, therefore a proton-bound electron motion form expands at the rate of the squared wave number of the effective successive wave of a free electron motion form, and inversely proportional inversely proportional to squared wave number of effective successive wave of free electron motion form, frequency of proton-bound electron motion form decreases. This is so important. Point energy, point mass, etc. decreases at this moment, until the successive effective wave passes. Proton-bound electron motion form's motion cycle slows. This doesn't mean that the time slows. When effective successive wave vanishes, the proton-bound electron motion form shrinks again. While shrinking, it produces and pours out a single wave pulse. I have put forth formulas about this subject, and I have told you before. Now, similarly, not just same, but similarly, here, these are pulsars, middle of them Earth, and here blue lines successive wave of a giant electron motion form, successive wave of a black hole, gravitational or light wave. Same light wave and the gravitational wave are the same. Here, blue line is black hole's gravitational wave. Okay. Red line, magnetic axis of a pulsar, this pulsar, magnetic axis. Okay. And each gravitational wave, okay, affects at the rate of its squared wave number. Don't forget this. Yes. In similar but with subtle differences, in 3. Yes. 3. In similar but with subtle differences, giant electron motion forms. I'm so sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. 3. In similar but with subtle differences, giant electron motion forms effective successive waves. Black holes' successive light or say gravitational waves must have affected the pulsars too. With subtle differences, because pulsars and electron motion forms are not the same, but pulsars have magnetic axis. Just like the electron motion forms have motion arrow axis, and principally these two type axes are the same. Therefore, according to my theory and my formulas, there seems to be no reason why the gravitational waves shouldn't affect the pulsars and not the space. Therefore, according to my theory and my formulas, there seems to be no reason why the gravitational waves should not affect the pulsars and not the space. When a successive gravitational or light wave of a giant free electron motion form, in other words, free black hole, coincides, interacts, interacts and intertwines with a magnetic axis of a pulsar, this gravitational wave causes precession of the pulsar. Gravitational wave makes this pulsar spin slow or oppositely. It makes the pulsar's magnetic axis cycle's linear velocity increase. So speed of this pulsar increases. This depends on whether effective successive waves linear velocity direction in the same direction with pulsar's magnetic axis or opposite direction with it. Okay. Red line in the direction of this side and gravitational waves line in same direction. Speed increases. spin speed increases according to me. And here results 0 degree, say this side points 0 degree. Tick and tacks of pulsars will be fast. Tick, tick, tick, tick, tick, tick. High frequency, higher frequency than the normal, like this. When they came 90 degree position, like this direction is gravitational wave direction. This gravitational direction will not affect this pulsar, because of there is 90 degree angle between their directions. Okay. Yes. Yes. Third way is, if the linear velocity of cyclical motion of gravitational wave is greater than pulsar's first cycle magnetic axis linear velocity at 1,884,000 km per second, this is so when second or more successive wave has wave number multiplied by 1,884,000 km per second, when these more than one wave number gravitational wave coincides and interacts with magnetic axis of a pulsar in opposite direction, at that moment, as a shock, gravitational wave may make a pulsar stop to spin for a moment. Then when it passes, pulsar may start to spin again. This is third probability, but now I eliminate this. Eventually, left side in same direction, normal pulsar spin increases by the effect of in same direction gravitational or light wave effect of black holes. 90 degree, no effect, like this. Frequency increased, no frequency change, and frequency slow. Why? Because in 180 degree direction, this direction, according to my theory and my formulas, must represent what? Same direction or opposite direction of pulsar's magnetic axis and effective successive waves line direction. Okay, here direction, for instance. Okay, here right side of 90 degrees gravitational wave come in and make slow this pulsar's magnetic axis. Okay. Okay. Because of opposite direction, then this pulsar's spin velocity decreases. This timekeeper is faster, this timekeeper is slower, this timekeeper is normal. Okay. But there is no mystical fictitious space-time fabric, stretching and squeezing. There is no thing like this. Yes, I will go on next. Again and again, I advise you to watch my former videos step by step. Have a good afternoon. See you later.